Good morning, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas day yesterday. And the video today, I want to share with you how we're gonna fill up this garden bed and what kind of compost we used. And if you watch my last video about building this garden bed, and of course we just try to put on the topsoil and even the grass on the top, we just fill all of them at the bottoms. And yesterday I did some pruning like around the edge of that garden bed over there. I got a lot of leaves and branches just kind of hanging over on the side of the garden bed of this parsnip, so I just trim them off and I put or I lay on top of the topsoil as well, and a lot of other pruning over there. And if you have a lot of pruning like this, and it's very good to fill in the garden beds and bring a lot of the nutrient to the soil later. And I know a lot of you have a very tall garden beds and you feel like a lot of twigs and log in there. But for me, I normally am not I don't feel like I want to put very big log or very big branches there. Of course, by the time they will decompose, but for me, I don't feel doing it. I just like to put very soft material. They do have some branches there. This is carbon, by the way. I just have it some, and on the branches I don't want anymore. I just put in here. So only two branches they will break down very quick. But I'm not going to put the big branches in there. And now over here as well, I still have some other leaves of this side of the parsnip. I'm going to trim them and I'm going to put them in there as well. And if you watch my video, one of the video a while ago, I talked about what kind of soil and compost I use for my garden. And here the garden bed that I filled them with the mushroom compost last autumn, and they are nearly a year now, and I haven't refill and refresh the soil at all. And so I grew autumn crop, that's autumn, and I grew the winter crop in winter, and now this is the summer crop, and all doing very well. And I haven't fertilized them, refreshed them, or add anything to them at all. And they are just amazing doing on the plant, doing very well. Let me show you. I haven't done anything for them at all, and even you know me that I often plant very full, very intense. In here I got parsnip and little plant of basil, 2 bushes of zucchini. We've been eating them a lot, and 2 little vine of cucumber. They all doing well. At the corner there, more basil, and yes. So in this garden bed, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna add on the top here with the mushroom compost. I also just add some more, like some pruning branches of my roses and some other flower. I add them in here as well. Normally I don't put like the branches like this of the roses after I deadhead them, but after a few months, or 6 or 7 months, they've been starting to decompose. So I think they could be fine. And I did break down quite big box of cardboard. So this cardboard, I don't use them like to separate the weeds or anything. I just put them in here because I got it on hand, and I think they could be nice to add together as organic matter, breaking down together with the greens material. So now we're gonna fill all of the mushroom compost for this garden bed. I think this garden bed gonna cost over 1 cubic of meter, or over 1 cubic or 2 cubic of mushroom compost. Alright guys, I'm in my front yard now, and this is a big pile of mushroom compost I just done a few days ago. And yesterday we got very big storm, so that's why the compost, I can feel that they're not hot at all. But I do recommend if you, or when your compost arrive and if you got very high temperature, don't use them just yet because they might get burned your soils, or might get burned your plants. But we got very cool weather today, so there are no problem at all. And because the compost is still very chunky like this, so the plant can't quite take all the nutrients that they need from the compost. So I'm going to show you a little bit later how I plant the plant in the compost like this. And so mostly we're going to take the wheel. We use a wheelbarrow from the front to the back to dump into that big garden bed, and I can show you at the end. So maybe I just kind of skip that part to move the compost, because as you know, we just move the compost there, we don't do anything else. Guys, so I kind of finished filling the garden bed with the mushroom compost I showed you, and I did use water. I spray all the water, wet them very well in, because this mushroom compost, they haven't quite well composted yet, and I don't want the seedling got burned, so that's why I wet all of them. When I soak in the water, I might have to do that several days, 3 or 4 days a week at least, because I don't want the plant gets burned. But also I'm going to put some premium potting mix. You know, this time I often use a lot of the premium potting mix in each hole of the seedling. So this what is that called? The eggplant. On this seedling I grow from seeds since at the beginning of the season, and I do have a few I plant in the garden bed on the other side already down over there, but over there they got bigger because the seedling were bigger than this lot, so that's why I kept it lot quite until now. I know a lot quite late now, but I just want to give this seasoning a go, you know, because we got very cool season so far, and eggplant won't take off until we got temperature hot, like 25 to 30 or 35 degrees plus. Otherwise, if the cool season and cool weather, they won't grow much at all. So if you buy like this type of seedling, I think $6 or $7 in Bunnings or at the nursery. Last year this size I bought at the nursery $8. So this year I decided I'm gonna go them all by myself. So if you count all of these, eggplant could be $40 or $50 of the eggplant seedling, and that's quite a lot for a few little seedling eggplant. And plus I got some the other corner there, I did plant them already. And so that's the plan. In the front here, on this side I can go on eggplant, because on the top we got the clothesline here. I don't want to plant anything too tall, because that will make uncomfortable walking around with the clothesline and hanging the clothes, with the clothes touching to the plant. And on this side we got I'm going to sow several rows of the corn seeds, because we got very hot afternoon sun from this side of the house, because it is a south facing, and we got very hot afternoon sun since about 12 o'clock until 6:30 p.m. in the evening. So I want to plant the corn to block the sun from the hot sun to the window of the bedroom. So that is a plan, and I do use a lot of corns to growing them to block the sun for other plants around my garden as well. Let me show you. Can you see the clematis that I did plant that one in the spring, and I did plant some corn there to block some sun in sky. It's very harsh afternoon shining over there. So I do use a lot on the other side as well. Down there, more corn over there, and more corn on the other corner there. The glass corner is not doesn't do anything. I mean, I don't need to block the sun over there, but I got some space there, so that's why I just put some more corn there. But I normally, like intersection, I don't know how to call that sort. I mean, when they are around flowering like this, I mean the corn they are flowering, I often sow another lot, and when the other not blooming, and I can sow another lot. I keep doing that. Normally I got 3 crops out of one season like last year or the year before as well. So we always have a sweet corn to eat, so that is so yummy. So the corn, I'm going to sow the seed directly, and because I'm going to spread some compost or the potting mix underneath it because I don't want the seeds get burnt. And on this side, you can see it's quite open on this side as well. And I think I might put one little sweet potato vine. So we got very cool season. I don't think I got any tuber this year, but I want to grow the vine and to eat the leaves because we love stir fry the sweet potato leaves with garlic. They are just very typically Vietnamese way. They're so yummy. Guys, so I just managed to plant all the eggplant seasoning in, and let me show you the type of the eggplant I got in here. This one is called the name very long though. Okay, let me see. Listada de Gondia. And this variety, I have been growing this variety for 3 years now, and I love them very much. Do you know this packet of the seeds I got in Bunnings, and only I think $4.50 Australian dollar, and I have been growing them for 3 years, and this year they still come up very well, and you see, so that's why I have a lot of seeds. And I love this variety, and because they're very soft, and when they produce a lot. So I love them very much, and I love the flavor as well. I prefer this variety better than the very big and dark purple color. So it's just only me. And here the type of the corns, it's just very normal Swiss corn. And again, I just got the seed in Bunnings, seed in snow gold by color. So that's it. And when after I plant the corn seeds, I just thought that I don't think I have a room to squeeze the sweet potato vine in. Because first I thought that I can plant the sweet potato vine on the edge, and that it to crawl on over on this side, but we'll see in the future. So when you plant your corn, it should be better to plant them like in the zigzag here and there, or not plant them in the trash row like this because they are pollinated by winds. But in this case, I just got only this much of space actually, so I just plant one row thread and fill into this corner. And I can tell you that if you don't have much space and you just plant your Swiss corn in just stress roll like that, when they in bloom, and you just hold the flower, I don't know, flower neck or something, and you just hold the neck, and then you shake it, and the pollens will just fell off on the hair of the corn or the cough, and then got pollinated. And yes, they've got very big storm already, so I think all the pollen will wash away. So every time, or sometimes, often, I plant the corn into kind of very weird way like this whenever I find the space. So I just come around and I just shake the head of the flower like this, and the pollen fell off. So that's it. So I think this is the end of a video today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and maybe today still like Christmas-ish, so maybe you still want to go out to do some planting, do some work in your gardens. I loving it, you know, and I know it's very hard to work, but I still enjoy it very much. And everything day like that, I just feel like I achieved something, or I done something, kind of like that. And so that's this. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.